Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to my first round of Premier League fixtures prediction. Looking forward to this weekend. There's some really good games coming up. So let's see what I've predicted to happen this weekend. So starting with Friday night, Brentford host Arsenal. Now looking at this on paper, looks like a very first tough opening fixture for Brentford. But Arsenal in pre-season, they've really struggled. They haven't won a single game. And I know not to read into pre-season too much, but it could mean that they could start quite slowly here against Brentford. Brentford, the first time in the Premier League, and it's going to be really interesting to see how they manage to deal with the pressure. I'd imagine they're going to have an absolutely packed stadium, everyone really excited to see them in the Premier League, and I can actually see them scraping a 1-1 draw here. On to Saturday morning now, and it's Manchester United taking on Leeds. Now, Leeds last season, first season back in the Premier League, and they were brilliant. Such a high finish for a newly promoted team, and I can't see them being like Sheffield United with that second season syndrome. I think they'll be fine. I think they'll possibly build on what they started last season and possibly finish even higher. But if you remember what happened in the first fixture of last season for Leeds, it was that really entertaining 4-3 loss to Liverpool that sort of set the tone for how they were going to play all season. High scoring games, and they were very entertaining to watch. I still do think they will lose the first game this season as well, as Man U is a tough opening fixture, especially with Jadon Sancho now on the books. So I'm predicting a 2-1 win to Manchester United, as they have too much power, but I'm expecting quite a few good results for Leeds this season, so they'll be fine. 2-1 Man United. On to the 3 o'clock kickoffs now, and Burnley take on Brighton. Now Brighton, they were such a good watch last season, and they would have finished much higher up the table if they had a striker to convert all the chances they were creating. They have, however, added up Enoch Mwepu into the midfield from Salzburg, and I think he'll be a really good addition next to Bissouma. That depends on how long they're going to keep Bissouma for, because I think he will leave at some point in the transfer window. But for now, their midfield's looking very strong. Burnley, I don't really have too much to say about them, as I think they're going to struggle again this season, and they'll need Chris Wood to really pick them up and keep them in the division. I think Brighton will dominate this game. However, I think because of that lack of a new striker in the team, it will be a low-scoring victory. So I'm going to go 1-0 to Brighton. On to the next match, and one I'm really looking forward to. Chelsea v Crystal Palace. Now, it might not sound like a great match, but Palace, they've got Vieira in now. It will be interesting to see how he does, as he's got no Premier League managerial experience, but he's had a real clear out as 11 players' contracts expired in June, so he's had to bring in a lot of very good players, and I'm thinking Palace might be one to watch this season, not in terms of a European place, but for a mid-table finish rather than around the relegation zone, which is where people may predict them. Chelsea, just fresh off becoming the champions of Europe, and they had a great campaign last season as soon as Thomas Tuchel took over. Havertz, I think this is going to be the season where he really announces himself onto the Premier League stage. After getting that Champions League winner, I think it's only onwards and upwards here for Havertz now. But it looks like they're also about to sign Lukaku as of recording, which is another great addition to the squad. And it's what they were needed, as the top goal scorer in the Premier League last season was Jorginho. So there's obviously something going on with their striking options. However, although I think Palace will be good this season, I think Chelsea will have a bit too much for them on the opening day, and I'm predicting Chelsea to win 2-1. Now on to the next game, where Southampton go to Rafa Benitez's Everton. I never thought I'd ever say that in my life. Rafa Benitez at Everton. It's such a strange thing to say. It doesn't seem right at all, but it's happening. I know a lot of Everton fans aren't happy about it, but I think he will do a good job there with the squad he's got, and he'll be quite comfortable. Now Southampton, on the other hand, I really worry about them this season. They have just announced the signing of Adam Armstrong, which I think is a good signing. However, he's not proven in the Premier League, and losing Danny Ings was a massive blow. Danny Ings was the talisman. He scored the majority of their goals, and I think they are going to struggle to live without him, really. Richarlison is going to be a key figure, I think, for Everton this season. I'm not sure if he's going to be back in time for this game, as Brazil won Olympic gold at Tokyo, but I think without Richarlison, and I can't see Adam Armstrong starting for Southampton, I think this could be quite a slow game, and I can see this ending all square 1-1. On to the next game now, where Leicester are taking on Wolves. Now, Wolves, they will be absolutely delighted to have Raul Jimenez back. He's such a good striker, and they really missed him when he got injured last season, as they were really struggling for goals. As far as I'm aware, Wolves, they have all their players back from injury. They've got a full squad, and that will be very good news for them. However, they have lost Nuno, and Nuno did a very good job there. Leicester, they've just had Wesley Fofana get injured in a friendly against Villarreal, which is not ideal because it adds on to all their other defensive injuries. Castagna, Evans and James Justin are all injured, so that's 4 defenders out. I think they will be okay because in midfield and attack they've got no injuries, Leicester. They're very strong. They've signed Patson Daka from Salzburg, who I saw him in a friendly and he looked very much like a Jamie Vardy sort of player. Plays on the last shoulder, very quick, very, very good at finishing, and I think he's going to be really good for them this season. But I can see Leicester winning this 1-0. The last 3 o'clock kickoff is Watford versus Villa. This game, Watford, I think they will be okay in attack this season. Not great, but I think João Pedro and Ismail Assar, they are both good players. They will be able to score some goals. However, I'll really worry about them defensively. I don't think they're strong enough for this division. Aston Villa just lost Jack Grealish to that crazy £100 million transfer, but they have brought in some good replacements. Emi Buendia from Norwich was brilliant in the Championship last season, and he was pretty good in the Premier League the season before. And Leon Bailey from Leverkusen, also a very another good explosive winger. I think they are good replacements for Jack Grealish, and altogether I think Villa will just have a bit too much attacking firepower for Watford. But I do think Watford will be able to get a goal, so I'm predicting Villa to win 2-1. On to Saturday's late kick-off now, between Norwich and Liverpool. Liverpool, they're a very strong team, but I think this could be the end of the team that are winning by high score lines. I think you saw it towards the end of last season. I know they had a lot of injuries, but they were losing games 1-0, winning games 1-0. There was nothing much higher than that, to be honest. And I think although they've got Van Dijk back, he's came back from a very bad injury. I'm not sure he'll be the same player that he was. And it's looking bad because the injuries have already started for Liverpool, with Robertson having to limp off in a friendly. I think Norwich, they will be a lot better than the team that got relegated in 20th last time from the Premier League. I think they'll have matured a lot more and they will be more experienced. But I still think Liverpool have a bit too much for this game, but I think it will be low scoring, so I'm predicting Liverpool to win 1-0. On to Sunday now, and starting with Newcastle v West Ham. Now Newcastle, as of recording, they still haven't made any signings. West Ham, they've barely done anything in the transfer market either. However, Newcastle are looking at their lone star player from last season, Joe Willock, in a deal from Arsenal. Now, Newcastle, I think they will be able to get something out of this game, as I'm expecting St Maximin and Wilson both to start, and they're very good attacking players. However, West Ham, they are the stronger side, so I really think I should be favouring West Ham, but for some reason I can see this being a 1-1 draw. On to the last game of the weekend, and it looks like a really good watch. It's Tottenham versus Man City. Man City, they will be disappointed as Foden and De Bruyne are both out injured, both going to miss this game by the looks of it. And they'll really be hoping that Grealish fits in very quickly and steps up to the mark. Otherwise, they might struggle to break down Tottenham. It will be interesting to see Tottenham this season under Nuno, as no one really knows where to put Tottenham. I think they might drop off a bit this season, but they could surprise people. And with the signing of a player like Bryan Gill, very young winger, very talented, just came back from winning silver at the Olympics with Spain, so I don't think he'll be ready in time for this match. And the big talking point is Harry Kane's uncertainty. He could be at Man City by the end of the transfer window, so I'm not sure how big a role he's going to play in this game. I can see Man City still being a bit too strong for Tottenham, even though they've got De Bruyne and Foden out injured, as they've got such a big squad and they can rotate players and still easily have the best squad in the league. So I can see Man City winning this 2-1. And that is it. Those are my Premier League predictions for the first round of fixtures. Let me know in the comments what you agree with, what you disagree with. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel for more content and share with your friends. It really helps out. Really looking forward to these fixtures and enjoy.